can you talk to us about things you look for when you're hiring leaders?
I think there's not one single way to do it. And leadership comes in so many different forms. What we look for are people who sort of stand out, whether it's in product development and operations, and bring something a bit unique to the table. And we look for folks who want to invest time in the people around them. That's really important because technical leadership is all about mentorship. It's all about guiding teams. It's all about providing them support. We have a nice formal process with HR where we sit down and think about our employees and think about what their future potential is and how we can track them and how we can help them.
Whether we look for them internally or externally, the two biggest things I look for, regardless of what positions we're hiring for, but especially at the leadership level, is culture fit and attitude. We really need to make sure that they're customer focused, they're high energy, and they can communicate the technological ideas with people skills and make that connection.
I'm looking for someone who's intrinsically motivated to do what's right for unselfish reasons. They do what's right, they work hard. Also, I'm looking for people who can connect the dots, people who can take in information and understand what that means and generate new insights from that.
They need to have energy. They need to have lots of energy because smart enough without energy doesn't go too far. So with energy, they need to be resilient under pressure, they need to persevere, they need to be influential, they need to be consultative so they can drive the teams with them. And then you rotate them into other roles. So before you promote them to bigger roles, you give them other challenges so they're really rounded before they get a bigger role. And in IT specifically, we look for leaders to be business leaders first, technology leaders second.
They have to, start with research, best practices, methodology of, decision making, and giving them, the full freedom of making mistakes, coming up with ideas, trying to do things in a different way with a little bit of guidance.
We've moved into a much more individual and personalised leadership development programme, whereby essentially we use a succession plan to look at two things really. So we're looking to succeed the person, but we're also looking to succeed the role. And sometimes those two things are different because at senior leadership level, you obviously make a contribution through the role that you've got, but also the person that you are. On a personal basis, I think it's all about giving people clear accountabilities, clear outcomes, and largely letting them get on with it within guardrails. So I find it very difficult. I'm a detailed kind of person. I have a tendency to be all over somebody and micromanage, but I've learned over the years that people really only thrive when you give them the opportunity to make a few mistakes within boundaries.
I always say there's an interesting paradox in business between empowerment and control, right? I mean, if ever you want super control, global processes, that are precise to the T and so forth, or you want to let people try things and feel empowered and accountable. So we're not really, so much looking at, diplomas, degrees, etc., but more at how people are thinking, how they are behaving, their character. And that's really interesting. And then the problem, of course, is, trying to work on your leadership pipeline and identifying those interesting characters early enough so that you can keep throwing at them, more and more interesting challenges and, raise the bar as you move on.